Back on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell in your afternoon drive. Joining us on the Sports Tech Hotline, the wonderful and amazing and talented Ashley Battle,
All right.
UConn women's basketball great. You're a three-time national champ, correct?
That's right.
Three-time national champion.
Do you ever wear all the rings at once? Do you ever put them all on?
You know, they're in my sock drawer.
Of course they are.
Yeah, great. That's everybody
great
can
place
see them.
for 'em. I have my World Series ring on top of my sock drawer, by the way,
Yeah, you
and
can
I'm
do
not
that.
lying.
On top of your sock.
It is.
Maybe I should bring mine out a couple. I have a really funny story about rings.
Bring it. What do you got?
If we have time to
Yeah,
hear.
go
We
ahead.
have plenty of time, dear.
Okay, so one day I'm playing in Spain. I get a call from the office, and they're like, "Hey, did you lose your 2004 national championship ring?" And I'm like, "No, in my sock drawer." And so they're like, "Call the house, make sure everything's there." I call home. My mom's like, "Yeah, it's in your sock drawer." So I call the university back, and I'm like, "Yeah, everything's fine. Like, what's going on?" So some guy found a national championship ring of mine in a bathroom in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Ah!
And so I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm like, how is this even possible? How is this even possible? And so I realized that during the ordering process, we had the option of ordering yellow gold or white gold. And I initially ordered yellow gold. And maybe like a week after, I was like, no, I'm going to change it to white gold because my other two are yellow. And so I changed it, and it made both of them. Someone took it, lost it. Now I have both of them.
Wow! Good work.
Wow. That's a better story than anything I've ever heard.
That's
You
great.
got both rings.
Great.
Now I got both rings. So technically, I got 4 rings.
Right.
Damn.
Right.
Well, but I was going to say you were also Defensive Player of the Year. Did you get a
Oh, yeah,
trophy
that
for that
happened
or a
too.
plaque? What do you get?
I got a trophy. It's pretty big.
There you go.
It can't fit. That one can't fit in my sock drawer.
All right, so let's talk about last night's game, but let's just talk about what it's like to be UConn Husky, and you get everybody's A game every time you play. It doesn't matter who they are; you're going to get the best out of them.
Yeah, it's hard, man. I mean, that 2014, we had won 2 national championships. We were riddled with injury, and every night, you know, you're getting someone's best, and it's a difficult task. You know, you have to be top all the time. You don't get, you know, times where teams are slacking. Like, I mean, it'll be the teams that haven't played very well will be some of the toughest games. And, you know, somehow, some way, you just have to try to grit and grind through it. And, you know, unfortunately, last night we dropped to St. John's.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah.
But
Now, when it comes to being a current teammate, when you're on the team, and I've asked you this before, but the pressure from alumni, is it like subliminal? Is it people show up to the building? Is it Gino tells you about what people are saying? Do you feel it? Is it inexistent? Like, what is the pressure for the alumni?
we don't say anything to them, you know, so like nothing was said to us while I played. It's just more of, you just know that they're watching. So you know that they're watching, and you want to add to the legacy. You don't want to be the first of this, the first of that. You haven't done this in 30 years. Like, you don't want that to be like your legacy. You want to add to the national championships that we already have.
What's Gino like today at practice after a
Great
loss?
question, yeah.
I mean, 30 years ago, Gino, we was probably running a lot. Today's Gino, he's way more compassionate, way more, you know, this is what we have to do to get better. There's a lot of injuries right now, so I would imagine the women are tired. So it may not be as bad as what people may think it's going to be.
I look at it as a big picture thing with the loss to Marquette, loss to St. John's, obviously us in this room and you as well. Like nobody wants to lose to those teams. But, we were talking 10 years ago when UConn or Tennessee or Notre Dame get like 3 losses. Whoa, there's some parity going on. We've got a bunch of different winners of the national championship. There's some parity going on. But I really think like when Kentucky beating South Carolina in the SEC tournament last year. These 2 losses with UConn. What's going on in the Big Ten? I continue to see the level of competition grow in women's basketball. Last night was just another example.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's been growing steadily. You have players that maybe weren't recruited as much, but then they're coming out and just roasting people, or people may not have wanted to take a chance on them, and they're, leading, scoring 30 points a game. So it's been fun to watch. Obviously, being a UConn alum, you just want us to win every game by 100. But, the reality is, people are getting better. People from smaller towns may not have a large AAU presence are getting better. And we just have to continue to compete. And I have no doubt that, once we're all healthy, it's a different story.
I was talking about Aubrey Griffin, and we're talking to Ashley Battle, UConn great, and now a scout for the Boston Celtics. You played with Diana Taurasi. You know her feet like a Michael Jordan. I mean, even she woed them of how competitive she is. Explain a game you're maybe losing or it's a close game, and you didn't have to say anything. Gino wouldn't have to say anything, but like a Diana Taurasi or a Sue Bird or your best players would all of a sudden take it upon themselves to try to make a bucket and do whatever was necessary to win a game.
The beauty about our team, we always had so many people stepping up. Again, for whatever reason, 2004 just keeps popping up in my head where, it's the Final Four in 2004, and we're playing against Texas. Now, Texas is kicking our butt all game. I mean, they're just handing it to us. It's not even close. But the beauty of, being there, the beauty of having a player like Diana, the beauty of having that experience is that you just don't panic, and we just didn't panic. And slowly but surely, we'll chip away. And there wasn't any doubt in our head that we were going to lose that game. I have a fond memory of the game where I'm checking into the game and Coach grabs me by the face and he's like, "We need a turnover." And I'm like, "Okay, just, all right, I'll go get you one." Like, sure, it's no problem. And I go in and it's like, boom, boom, 2 turnovers right away. And it's just a collective. Everyone knows what everyone's trying to do, knows what each other can do, and collectively just really together. Ironically, I know a lot of people from that Texas team, and not too long ago, about maybe 2 years ago, I was talking to a couple of them, and I asked them, I'm like, "Do you guys ever think about that game?" I'm like, because I really want to know what it's like from your perspective. and they're just like, "I can't stand you guys. I don't know how that game. Yeah. Our coaches start doing stuff we have never done before." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, you could tell because there's no way we should have won."
Well, that just illustrates again, like we're talking, everybody's going to come at you. And, if for a lot of these girls, when they win against UConn, it is Super Bowl.
I'm watching the replay of the game in the final 2 minutes, and the look on the St. John's girls' faces.
This is their career.
This is the Super Bowl win for them.
For sure.
All right, we wanted to get
They'll remember this for the rest of their lives.
We want to get some NBA questions with you because you're, the Boston Celtics insider now for us. What teams? We know I think it's basically a foregone conclusion. We're going to see the Bucks and the C's in the Eastern Conference Finals. What teams are a bad matchup? Maybe in the West, especially with KD and the Suns or Kyrie and Dallas. Now, what are the bad matchups? Be a series the Celtics don't want to get into because it just doesn't look good for them.
I'm I'm gonna knock on wood. Hopefully we'll stay healthy and make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I mean, clearly, the Orlando Magic, we can't beat them.
I know.
You just hope they're not in it.
Clearly, they have our number. Hopefully, they're not in it.
No.
If we got to play against them, we're in trouble.
Why is that? What is the matchup problems that the Magic have that the Celtics just can't handle?
If you look at their team, you got Bobo that has probably like a 10-10 wingspan.
Yeah.
They have a lot of guys that are just really long and athletic, and it just presents challenges to a lot of teams. I mean, they've been in a lot of games, but usually, the talent of the better teams usually takes over, and they're young, so they don't have as much experience as other teams. But, for us, it's some trouble, and, hopefully they're not in it, and we don't got to face them.
What'd you think of Jason Tatum in the All-Star game?
Oh, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to watch, him and JB. I think they scored like 90 points combined, something ridiculous like that. So I'm really happy for those guys. They deserve it. They've had a half of the season. Hopefully they both can continue it, through the rest of the season. And I mean, it'll be interesting to see for sure. I think we only have 23 games left, 20 games left, something along the lines of that. So playoffs is going to be here before you know it. So I'm really excited.
I'm sure the whole Celtic staff leans on you for all UConn information, and we got a few guys on this current roster that it may be in the draft here coming up soon. Jordan Hawkins, cream of the crop. He's listed as an NBA lottery pick in most draft mocks. You've got Sonogo as a possible option, Andre Jackson, maybe there's some others, but when it comes to NBA, and I don't want to get you in trouble or let any cats out of the bag that you're not supposed to talk about, but when it comes to UConn players, like what is the office ask? Ashley, you got to find out about this. Ashley, what about this guy? Who is like really getting a lot of talk right now on the UConn team?
What's great is that I don't have them as a team. They just know that I watch them all the time.
Right. Yeah. They'll put you on something else. And then
like I don't. They're not even my group. So like, literally the other day we were doing, kind of reviewing everything, and they're like, Ash, what do you think? And I'm just like, this isn't even my team. But of course, I watch them religiously, and it's great to see, those guys put themselves in a position to, have this opportunity to potentially have an opportunity to play in the NBA. I obviously, like, Jordan is a great shooter. There's some things, I would like to see more out of all those guys, but I don't know if I could get too detailed into that. But I'm just super excited because more UConn players in the league.
Who in the Western Conference scares you? Who are we not talking about enough that you? Damn, that's a really good basketball team.
Maybe like Denver.
Yeah, nobody ever talks about
number
Denver.
one team.
Like,
Number one team no one talks about.
It's the number one team that no one talks about. Like, I think they're, really good, and Joker just, dominates the game. And they have long athletic wings, and, they're a really tough matchup for anybody. And it's wild that they are the number one team in the West, but they don't get talked about enough. A lot of Warriors, Lakers. Like, I think right now the Lakers aren't even in the play-in game.
Right.
But I don't really think they get talked about enough. And then you have KD and Kyrie going to the West. So you have, a lot of things happening right now. I don't think people are talking about enough. Like, losing Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson was a huge of Phoenix's team. So we'll see, how they're able to mesh going into the final stretch of the season.
How has it been with the Boston Celtics dealing with some of the injuries, maybe load management? We were watching the Bucks game that they did play, and a lot of guys didn't, but the bench, the third team, really showed up and played a great game, forced an overtime. it seems like the Celtics are really deep, but like you're in the mix of guys coming from G League back to the main team, filling in for Robert Williams. Like, how has the mix been, and especially for a new coaching staff? Basically, I mean, I know it's the same coaching staff, but it's still a different voice in the locker room this season. Just how has it been managing all the movable parts, I would say, for the Boston Celtics?
I mean, it's complicated. I mean, sometimes you want to, have everyone. You want everyone to play, but there's just not enough minutes to go around, for everybody. So it's a good problem to have, being that deep. Sometimes it's hard. Guys are competitive; they want to play, and sometimes you can't find minutes for them. And it's just crazy because, you want people to be in a groove and in a rhythm and into the playoffs. But I tell you one thing for sure is that I was really excited and really happy. Even though we lost that Bucks game, we were playing. They weren't expected to win. We were expected to get blown out by 50, and they came in and really dominated and really. I mean, Derek White was unbelievable. Sam was unbelievable. And we're just like, man, we actually have a shot at winning this game. And then you're kind of upset that you lost it,
right. Yeah.
Because you're just like, man, like we should have won.
You are the best, young lady. Thank you so much for your time. Be safe out there driving around.
Keep your rings in your sock drawer.
Yeah, exactly. Now you got both rings. Keep all four together so they don't get lonely.
Hopefully I can add a fifth.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be a really cool fifth one, too.
Absolutely.
It would be really pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, do First Dibs, brought to you by Trantolo and Trantolo.